Welcome to the lecture room. Myself, Dr. Rajiv Trivedi, Assistant Professor, Nirmala College, Diocese Ujjain. Now, today's chapter, Wave Optics first. This chapter belong number of topics like electromagnetic waves, wavefront, Huygens principle, reflection of light based on Huygens principle, refraction of light based on Huygens principle, behavior of wavefront in a mirror, lens and prism, coherent sources, interference, Young's double slit experiment, and last, colors in thin film. Now, first question, electromagnetic waves. Electromagnetic waves are those waves in which electric and magnetic field remains perpendicular each other, and due to the perpendicular electric and magnetic field, the motion of charged particle remains also perpendicular each other, means along x-axis, are called electromagnetic waves. In figure, these type जो red lines show vibration of the electric field and blue lines show the vibration of magnetic field. They superimposed each other and waves are moving in x-axis are called electromagnetic waves. Variations in both electric and magnetic field occurs simultaneously, means both electric and magnetic field applying simultaneously. Therefore, they attain their maxima or minima. This is the maxima, this is the minima, this is the maxima, this is the minima at the same place and at the same time. This is the maxima of electric field, this is the minima of magnetic field. This is the maxima of magnetic field, this is the minima of electric field. It varies continuously at a same time. Second, the direction of electric and magnetic field are mutually perpendicular each other, and as well as the direction of propagation of the wave. Means electric field, magnetic field and direction of motion of wave remains mutually perpendicular each other. To study the electromagnetic waves, the speed of electromagnetic waves depends entirely on the electric and magnetic properties of the medium in which the wave travels and not on the amplitude of their variations. The wave is propagating along x-axis with a speed c equal to 1 upon root 1 upon mu 0 epsilon 0. This is the permeability of the vacuum and this is the permittivity of the vacuum. C means the velocity of light, 3 into 10 to the 8 meter per second. For discussion of optical property of electromagnetic waves, more significance is to electric field, capital E. Therefore, electric field is called light vector. Now, next question, wavefront. There are three types of wavefronts. First, wavelets is the point of disturbance due to propagation of light. Means a wavefront is a locus of points having the same phase of oscillation, just like if one stone thrown in a river or lake, then where stone fall, that is called wavelets. Then wavefront is a locus of points having the same phase of oscillation. Means all oscillations remains in the same phase. A line perpendicular to a wavefront is called ray. First, ray wavefront from a point source. This is the point source in a spherical wavefront. This is the cylindrical wavefront as a line source, and this is a plane wavefront. All red lines shows rays, and this is green point show source point. Here in cylindrical wavefront, linear source are available. Pink dots are called wavelets. Pink dots, these are the wavelets. Wavelets. Blue envelope is called wavefront and red line show ray. Next question, Huygens construction or Huygens principle of secondary wavelets. Secondary wavelets. This is a spherical wavefront and this is a plane wavefront. This red line at which points are available are called wavelets. Wavelets, red dots on the wavefront. This wavefront moving left to right, then this is the new wavefront. This is called fresh wavefront. Similarly, in plane wavefront, this is the original wavefront and this is the new wavefront or fresh wavefront. Each point on a wavefront act as a fresh source of disturbance of light. Second, the new wavefront at any time later is obtained by taking the forward envelope of all the secondary wavelets at that time. Note, backward front is rejected. Why? Amplitude of secondary wavelets is proportional to half 1 plus cos theta. Obviously, for the backward wavelets, theta equal to 180 degree and 1 plus cos theta is 0. Next, laws of reflection at a plane surface on the basis of Huygens principle. In figure, XY is a reflecting surface and AB is a incident wavefront in which number of rays are remains parallel to each other, and when this ray incident on the XY surface, then rays reflected in this direction, means AB is an incident ray and CD is a reflected ray. Now we have to find path difference from E to F and F to G. First, velocity equal to distance upon time, then time equal to distance upon velocity. Then what is the distance covered by the ray from E to F equal to what is the time taken by the ray from E to F, T equal to EF. This is the distance with velocity c, plus what is the time taken by the light ray from F to G is also T equal to Fg upon c. C means velocity of light in air medium. Now this is the angle of incidence, this is the angle of reflection. Then sin I equal to perpendicular upon base, then EF equal to AF sin I. Similarly, sin R equal to perpendicular upon hypotenuse, then Fg equal to Fc sin R. Now we have to find now the value of Fc. This is the means AC minus AF equal to Fc. Putting the value of Fc means AC minus AF in this situation and take common AF. This is the time, total time taken by the light ray from E to F and F to G. AB is an incident wavefront, CD is a reflected wavefront and XY is a reflecting surface. In this case, incident wavefront, reflecting surface are perpendicular to the plane of paper. For ray of light, different parts on the incident wavefront, the values of AF are different. But light from different points of the incident wavefront should take the same time to reach the corresponding points on the reflected wavefront. So T should not depend on AF, means the time taken by the light ray from E to F, B to C or A to D or F to G does not depend on the time T. This is possible only while sin I minus sin R equal to 0, that is sin I equal to sin R or I equal to R. Next question, laws of refraction at the plane surface on the basis of Huygens principle. In figure also, this is the rare medium, this is the denser medium. The refractive index of rare medium is mu1 and refractive index of denser medium is mu2, and the velocity of light in rare medium will be c and the velocity of light in the denser medium is v. Now let us consider xy is a refracting surface now, and AB is a incident wavefront, incident at angle I with the refracting surface, and after some time it refract from rare to denser medium. It bend towards normal. Now we have to find what is the time taken by the light ray from E to F and F to G. Then velocity equal to distance upon time, then time equal to distance upon velocity, then distance EF, then time equal to distance upon velocity, speed of light in rare medium. Now second, the time taken by the light ray from F to G in denser medium are represented by T equal to Fg upon V. The total distance covered by the light ray from E to F and F to G are represented by T equal to AF upon C plus Fg upon V. Now similarly, we have to find sin I, after that sin R, and we get EF means AF sin I, Fg means Fc sin R. Now Fc, we have to find Fc. So Fc means AC minus AF equal to Fc. Putting this value in this equation, take common AF. This is the final. For rays of light for different parts on the incident wavefront, the values of AF is different, but light from different points of the incident wavefront should take the same time to reach the corresponding point on the refracted wavefront. So T does not depend on the AF. It is possible only while sin I upon C minus sin R upon V equal to 0, or sin I equal to, or sin I upon sin R equal to C upon V equal to mu. This is called Snell's law. Snell's law means the refractive index is equal to the ratio of velocity of light in rare medium to the velocity of light in medium, or sine of angle incidence to the sine of angle reflection or refraction. Next topic, behavior of a plane wavefront in a concave mirror, convex mirror, convex lens, concave lens and prism. In first, this is the concave mirror, this is the convex mirror, this is the convex lens, and this is the concave lens. If any light ray reflected from inside the surface is called concave mirror. If any light ray reflected from outer side is called convex surface. Then one wavefront AB parallel to the principal axis incident on a convex mirror. Then after reflection, this ray passing through from the focus. Or in convex mirror, if a wavefront AB incident on a convex mirror, after reflection, they moves in CD direction, but they comes appear from the focus. Similarly, if a wavefront AB incident on a convex lens, then after refraction, all light rays focus at one point or cross at one point are called focus. Similarly, a wavefront AB incident on a concave lens, after incident, it refract in C direction or D direction. If these light rays extended in backside, they meet at this point are called focus. Means concave lens diverge all rays and convex lens converge all rays. This is the prism. AB is the incident wavefront and CD is the refracted wavefront. Means the path difference between the rays of incident wavefronts remains uniform always. Similarly, after refraction from the prism, the path difference or angle between the rays of this refracted wavefront also remains same. Then they are called coherent source. Coherent source means if any two waves are moving in a parallel side continuously, don't change with respect to each other, are called coherent wave. Or any two waves are obtained any from one source is also called coherent source. Means the angle between the two waves are not changed, are also called coherent source. Then coherent source of light are those source of light which emit light waves of same wavelength, same frequency and in the same phase or having constant phase difference. coherent source can be produced by the two methods. First, by division of wavefronts, Young slit experiment, Fresnel biprisms, and Lloyd mirrors. Second, by the division of amplitude, partial reflection or refraction. Next question, interference of wave. Now let us consider two waves. First blue, first, red, second, are same amplitude, nearly same velocity, are moving in one direction. They superimposed each other, then we get maxima or minima. If both waves having same amplitude, same frequency, moving parallel into each other in any one direction, then crest and crest, trough and trough are coincides each other. Then we get constructive interference. That is, amplitude or intensity will be maximum. But after a long time, any one wave moving with large velocity with the others, because the velocity of both waves slight different, then some situation comes that crest of first wave are coincide with the trough of second, and crest of second just coincide with the trough of first. Then in this case, amplitude or intensity will be minimum. This is called destructive interference. Means if both trough or both crest are comes at one position are called constructive interference, or in this case intensity or amplitude will be maximum. But in such situation in which crest or trough are just opposite each other, then intensity or amplitude will be minimum. This is called destructive interference. And this red line show resultant wave of these two waves. First wave are represented by red, second wave are represented by blue, and resultant wave are represented by green, and reference line are shown by this line. The phenomena of one wave interfering with other or resulting redistribution of energy in the space around the two sources of disturbance is called interference of wave. If two sources are kept with respect to each other, then alternate order, if first band is dark, then second is bright, dark, bright, alternate order, or first bright, second dark, bright, dark, etc. This process going on continuously. Next question, theory of interference of waves. We know that two waves of same amplitude, same frequency, with a nearly same velocity, moving in any one direction, they superimpose each other. Now let us consider first wave are just parallel to the x-axis, then the velocity, then the displacement of the first wave are represented by E1 equal to A sin omega t, and second wave makes angle phi with the first wave, then displacement of the second wave E2 equal to B sin omega t plus B. Here A is the amplitude of first wave and B is the amplitude of second wave, and omega is the angular frequency and t is the time. Omega angular velocity equal to theta upon time, then theta equal to omega into t, then omega into t is called phase difference. Now if adding these two equations by the superposition theorem, E equal to E1 plus E2, then E equal to A sin omega t plus B sin omega t plus phi, applying formula sin omega t into cos phi plus cos omega t into sin phi, taking common sin omega t, then A plus B cos phi plus B sin phi into cos omega t. This is the sum of amplitude of both waves. Then A plus B cos phi are represented by A cos theta, and this B sin phi is represented by A sin theta. A means sum of both amplitudes A and B. Now putting these two values in this equation, and we get resultant wave equal to a sin omega t plus theta. Now squaring off this equation and this equation and adding we get then a square bracket cos square theta plus sin square theta equal to 1 equal to this square plus this square, or a means this is the amplitude of both waves are moving in any one direction. If this equation dividing by this equation, then we get tan theta equal to b sin theta upon a plus b cos theta. This is the figure, this is the b cos phi and this is the b sin theta. This is the resultant amplitude. Intensity always directly proportional to square of amplitude, means I proportional to a square. That means I proportional to a square means removing root. This is the intensity. Condition for constructive interference of waves. The condition for the constructive interference, the path should be even multiple, path difference should be even multiple of lambda upon 2. This is represented phi equal to 2 and pi upon 2. So 2, so this is the even multiple. If we putting the value of 0, 1, 2, 3 dash dash always, here comes even integers always. Then del equal to lambda upon 2 pi into 2 n pi, or del equal to n pi. Multiplying by 2 and 2 means the path difference for constructive interference should be even multiple of lambda upon 2, or intensity directly proportional to a plus b whole square. If theta equal to 0, then 1 means a plus b whole square. For the condition of destructive interference, the path difference for the destructive interference should be odd integer of lambda upon 2. This is shown by this. If theta equal to 0, then cos theta means -1. -1 means a minus b whole square. In the next page, this is the maximum intensity, this is the minimum intensity. Then comparison of intensity of maxima and minima. I maximum upon I minimum equal to a plus b square upon a minus b square, or taking common b, then a upon b plus 1 whole square upon a minus b minus 1 whole square, or I maximum upon I minimum equal to r plus 1 whole square or r minus 1 whole square, where r equal to a upon b, the ratio of the amplitudes of two waves. Relation between intensity I, amplitude a of the wave, and width w of the slit. We know that intensity always directly proportional to square of amplitude, then a proportional to root w width, then I1 upon I2 equal to a1 square upon a2 square equal to w1 upon w2. Next topic, Young double slit experiment. This is the source of light. Light traveling from this source incident on the lens on the slit S1 and S2. According to Huygens principle, when any light ray comes in contact with a slit, then it's one part moving in a straight line. Means when light comes in contact with the slit, one part remains undeviated, moving in a straight line, and other part diffracted at angle theta, which is meet at the point P. Means if only light moving in a straight line, then light coming at the point O in the absence of slit S1 and S2. But if these two slits are introduced, then these lights diffracted and comes at the point P. Then the displacement of O from P is Y. The distance between these two slits are small d, but the distance between these two, d upon 2, and this is the d upon 2, and the distance between slit and screen is capital D. For finding path difference, we can draw normal from S1 on S2P, then path difference S2P and S1P will be S2P minus S1P will be represented by del or represented by S2M. Now first we have to find first S2P, second S1P. So S1P, S1 this point and P. So S1P square equal to D square plus Y minus D upon 2 square. This is this situation. Now we have to find S2P. Then S2P square equal to D square plus Y plus D square. And putting S2P and S1P in this situation, and after solving S2P minus S1P, so A square minus B square means A minus B, A plus B. After solving 2YD, then del into 2D, S2P, this is the. Now after that, this is the position of bright fringes. This is the path difference for bright fringe. This is the path difference for the dark fringe. But we know that the path difference for the bright fringes or constructive interference should be even multiple of lambda upon 2, and for the dark fringes means destructive interference, the path difference should be odd integer of lambda upon 2. Now we have to find by these two equations y equal to this, by these two equations y equal to this, where n equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, where n equal to 0, 1, 2, 3. If n equal to 0, then y equal to 0, n equal to 1, n equal to 1, so d lambda upon d, n equal to 2 this, n equal to n this. For n equal to 0, condition for dark fringe, this is the continuously. Then we know that if first fringe are bright, then second dark, third bright, and fourth dark. And if first is dark, then second bright, and left then dark. Now we have to find path difference between two bright fringes or two dark fringes. Then expression for dark fringes width will be beta d equal to yn minus 1, putting this value n and here n minus 1, and subtract, obtain d lambda upon d, and expression for the bright fringe width beta b for the equal to y dash n minus y dash n by this relation n minus 1. So expression for fringe width shows that fringes are equally spaced on the screen, means the distance between two dark fringes or two bright fringes remains same. Next question है distribution of intensity. These peaks show maxima. Maxima means bright fringes, and these points show minima. Means if first is maxima, then second is minima, maxima, minima, maxima, minima. Means in a intensity distribution curve, all maxima or minima, that means all bright fringes or dark fringes are arranged in a manner bright, dark, bright, dark, bright, dark, etc. Suppose the two interfering waves have same amplitude, say A, then I maximum proportional to A1 plus A2 square means A plus A whole square means I maximum proportional to 4A square. All the light fringes have this same intensity. Minimum intensity at each point will be 0. All the dark fringes have 0 intensity. All the bright fringes have the same intensity. Conditions for the sustained interference. First, the two sources producing interference must be coherent. Means if any two waves are superimposed each other, then their remains are exactly parallel with respect to each other. Second, the two interfering wave trains must have the same plane of the polarization. Third, the two sources must be very close to each other, and the pattern must be observed at a larger distance to have sufficient width of the fringe, d lambda upon d. The sources must be monochromatic, means we can only use one type wavelength, are called monochromatic. Otherwise, the fringe of different colors will overlap. Fifth point, the two waves must be having same amplitude for better contrast between dark and bright fringes. It is considered in the definition of interference. Colors in thin film. Next question. In figure, PQRS is a thin film of refractive index mu and width small t. Now let us consider one light ray incident at the point O at the angle I with the normal. Then it's one part partially reflected and other part partially refracted. This refracted ray again incident at the lower surface RS of the thin film. Then it's one part reflected and other refracted. This process going on continuously. Then we get two reflected rays above the surface PQ. OA and BC are remains parallel each other, and we get two transmitted rays or refracted rays below the surface RS are not represented in figure. Now we have to find path difference between two reflected rays or between two transmitted ray. Hence, for first we can draw normal from B on OA for finding the path difference between any two waves. It can be proved that the path difference between the light partially reflected from PQ and that from partially transmitted and then reflected from RS is the path difference between any two waves. Since there is no reflection at point O, the ray OA suffers in additional phase difference of pi, means 180, and hence the corresponding path difference lambda upon 2. Means if the phase difference is 180, then path difference will be lambda upon 2. For the ray OA and BC, these are the reflected rays, are moving in the same direction, are remains parallel each other, interfere constructively. The path difference must be n plus 1 upon 2 lambda. Then both path difference equate, then becomes 2 mu t cos r equal to n plus lambda upon 2. And for the OA and BC to interfere destructively, the path difference must be even multiple of lambda upon 2, and this result obtained. When white light from the sun falls on thin layer of oil spread over water in the rainy season, beautiful rainbow colors and formed due to interference of light.
For latest videos and updates, like, share and subscribe. For instant notifications, press the bell icon.